This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. I'm your host, Marcus, and today's game will be pitting the Benchwarmer team of Walling Josh, love that name, versus Scott and newcomer Seth McCracken. Welcome to the bench, Seth. Why don't you take a minute and let us know where you're from, what teams you root for, and anything else you'd like to share with us.
What's up, guys? Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm from Missoula, Montana, and I love the NFL and the UFC. I'm a big Titans fan and obviously UFC fighters. I love the Yankees. I'm a lifelong Kraken fan, but I didn't mention that in my go-tos because I don't know anything about them. So, but McCracken, Kraken, right? It works.
There you go.
And obviously, go Grizzlies, University of Montana, best FCS school ever. That's my teams right there. So I don't know. There's not much more to me, I guess.
Well, we're happy to have you. We've been clamoring for new guests, so you're the first one since we've kind of put out the call of people that haven't been on to come on. So we're happy to have you.
Nice.
Scott, how are you doing? And let us know what your and Seth's team name is going to be.
I'm good. Not much going on here. I'm excited also to have, some new blood on here. Happy to be teaming up. Not a lifelong McCracken fan, but I'm hoping after this game I'll be a McCracken fan. We'll see how that goes. But we were trying to come up with something that would incorporate the Grizzlies, for Seth, just kind of that name. And looking at the both of us here, we decided our team name today is going to be Bearded Bears.
You do both have beards that I'm very jealous of.
Yeah, and when I go to West Hollywood, they always call me a bear. I don't know what that means, though, out here.
Sure you don't.
Scott, let's have a chat after the show.
I mean, Urban Dictionary will tell you if you want to know.
It's not a Marcus game without multiple trips to the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. All right. Josh and Walling, why don't you let us know how you guys are doing, and then whichever one of you wants to tell us what your team name is.
Yeah, I'll go first. I'll let Walling have the team name. Things are good. Bought a grill a couple weeks back, used it for the second time today, made some pouched fish and vegetables. It was pretty tasty. So it's nice. I'd been in apartments for a number of years, so didn't have a grill. So it's nice to get back to getting those skills back up to where they need to be. So yeah, things are good.
Sweet.
Hi.
Hello, Eric Walling.
Hi. This is my first look inside of the new smoking lounge that Josh has built, where he writes his games in quill and ink. It's really nice.
No, it's an old school typewriter. Remember, it's not.
Quill
and ink.
It's murder. It's murder. She wrote. Yeah, that's what I think of.
She's like Paul Sheldon in Misery. Rest in peace, James Bond.
Yeah, it's really nice in there, and your smoking jacket really does play well with the mahogany background. Yeah, so this weekend's been good. I went and saw one of my favorite bands, a Montana alum as the lead singer. So I went and saw the Decemberists yesterday. Got to see their pre-show and do the little meet and greet and everything. So that was great to go to see live music again. And then today was just kind of doing stuff around the house and being lazy and yelling at my kids, which I need to do. If you hear someone screaming, it's because my kid's playing Fortnite. So yeah, we decided today, because we were talking earlier about, speaking of backgrounds, in the background you can't see, this is an audio medium, I get it, but there's in the background in the closet, there's a game used Denny Walling Texas Rangers jersey, which, I mean, could you hit any more of my high posts in life? And so we were kind of joking about his illustrious 17-year career and wondering who else has Denny Walling jerseys. So our team name is going to be the Denny Walling Fan Club. Make sure the question mark goes in the appropriate spot too.
Yeah, I got that. All right. We have our teams, and now let's kick it over to Dan for the rules.
We'll be starting off with the coin flip question to warm up the teams. This will be followed by 4 quarters of play, each with a different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions pertaining to sports. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
Man, Dan's really, you could really tell how he felt about that Vikings preseason game and that.
He had his hair slicked back like Steve Alford this time. It was really weird.
Yeah, that was strange. All right, let's start off the game with the coin flip question. And since we have a guest, it will go to Scott and Seth. So here's your coin flip question. Since the year 2000, who has more Big Sky Conference football championships? Montana or the Eastern Washington Eagles?
I knew that was going to be it.
Damn right it is, Seth. The best FCS team.
I hate UW so much, dude. Whatever, that playoff game last year was fire when we sent them home. Anyways.
I have a feeling one that's actually close to me would actually argue with both of you that, that when it comes to the best FCS football program, I think it's located somewhere near Fargo, North Dakota, but that's
yeah. They should just move up already.
I don't know. National championships maybe don't count, so let's we can move on.
We get it. They're good. Go up.
Yeah. Both of our teams have been beaten by them several times in championship games.
Don't get me wrong. I have no love for them. Just pointing out.
Yeah.
Seth, I'm gonna let you take this one, man.
Well, so I know the Grizz had a run in the early 2000s for sure. Heck, I think we went to the national championship 3 times in 4 years. I don't think we've won a lot since. And I know EW was really good late 2000s, early. I'd honestly, as much as I love my Grizz, I'm leaning Eastern Washington.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Checking that in. Eastern Washington.
Okay. The Eastern Washington Eagles have had 7 conference titles since the year 2000, and the Montana Grizzlies have 8.
Ooh.
The correct answer is the Montana Grizzlies.
Should have had faith in my boys, man. What
yes,
am I doing?
and I included code championships because there's been some of those too. And I was thinking, so Montana was one of a couple schools to go independent during the COVID season, so they obviously weren't eligible for that one in 2020. And Seth, aside from my EW fandom, there is a bigger dub that I'm a big fan of.
Yes.
And nothing prepared me. I have to thank you guys because nothing prepared me more for disappointment on my trip to Ann Arbor to see the Huskies play Michigan than them coming off of a loss to Montana. So thanks for that because I was fully prepared for that beating that we took in the big house. So. All right, 10 points to Denny Walling Fan Club for doing absolutely nothing. So 10-0 to start off this game.
Before we get to the first quarter, we wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia you have come to expect from us. There's also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmers swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
And now let's go on to the first quarter. And your first quarter is Flop, Turn, and River.
Flop, Turn, and River. For this quarter, there will be 3 questions consisting of 5 clues. The first 3 clues will be given before the teams decide if they want to check in with their guests. The last 2 clues will be given one at a time, with teams deciding if they want to check in with their guests after each subsequent clue. If a correct answer is checked in after the first 3 clues, the team will receive 50 points. After the 4th clue, 30, and after the 5th clue, 20.
So our first question in Flop, Turn, and River. Who am I? Clue number 1, I competed in the UFC and Bellator heavyweight division. Clue 2, I had the longest uninterrupted tenure in UFC history of 15 years. And clue number 3, I was one of the coaches in season 8 of The Ultimate Fighter.
Hey, Marcus, we're going to take another clue.
Okay. Seth and Scott, you got about a minute, and you can either use that minute to try and come to an answer, or you can decide to take another clue. It's up to you guys.
I mean, if you want to roll the dice, I'm good with it.
I would hate to be wrong. Baby.
We can also just take another clue to be safe. I mean,
since I'm a rookie, maybe we should just take one more.
let's do it.
Okay. Both teams take another clue. Clue number 4, I have the record for most finishes in UFC heavyweight history.
I say we check in. Go for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, you guys are checking in?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, you have roughly 2.5 minutes. Danny Walling fan club. So you can either ask for another clue or you can continue to talk it out.
There's not any talking out here. This is
I was going to say, it's me talking it with myself.
What?
I know, it's a shocker.
I'm shocked by this.
So I'm pretty sure this is the same year, and I might have seen like the two coaches fight from season 8.
Okay.
I saw Nogueira and Mir fight in Vegas at the first only UFC fight I've ever been to.
And you think those were the two coaches?
And I think they were the two coaches because that was a big, like, it's the right time frame. But Nogueira was around for forever, and so was Mir. Like, Mir was really young. I'm not confident. Let's get one more clue, and I'll just coin flip it. Yeah.
So you are taking another clue?
Yeah.
Okay. Clue number 5. I'm a 2-time UFC heavyweight champion and defeated Brock Lesnar via knee bar in Lesnar's UFC debut.
Frank Mir, check it in.
Okay. And Bearded Bears, what you checked in after clue 4. What did you guys have?
Take it away, dude.
We checked in also with Frank Mir. I was trying to think of heavyweights with a super long uninterrupted tenure in the UFC, and that's the only one I could really pull that would have been marketable anyways. And I had it after 3, so I should have gone with that, but after 4, we said Frank Mir.
Both teams are receiving points. The correct answer is Frank Mir. Mir also is the owner of the most submission victories in UFC heavyweight history, and he was competing with the UFC from 2001 to 2016. All right, let's move on to question 2 in Flop, Turn, and River. What am I? Clue number 1. I was created in the year 2000.
Is it Mason?
In the year 2000.
All right, there we go. I was waiting. I was like, come on, guys.
Mason Guillot.
Clue number 2. I use 4 different All-American teams to determine the winner. And clue number 3, I am used as a fundraiser for the Boomer Esiason Foundation's fight against cystic fibrosis.
1 and 3 led me to Mason, but the second clue, I don't think it's Mason.
I am used as a fundraiser.
He just has Mason walking around.
Yeah, Mason's like, excuse me, do you have a moment to talk to us about cystic fibrosis?
Marcus, we would prefer another clue, please, sir.
Okay. The Danny Walling fan club would like another clue. So you got about a minute, Bearded Bears, if you would like to either talk it out or ask for another clue.
We're going to take another clue as well.
Yeah.
What? All right.
We all just get so mixed up with all the different Boomer Esiason fundraisers that we have in our head.
I mean, I get invited to like 18 of them a year. So, I mean, which one?
I can't get the image of Mason staying out in the cold with like a donation box out of my head.
All right. Well, let's try to get that image out of our heads. And let's go to clue number 4. Of the 22 recipients, only 6 of them went on to become first-round draft picks.
We're going to take another one.
Everybody
Yep.
going to take another clue?
Yeah.
Shocking. Okay, let's move on to question number 5. Dominic Raiola was the first recipient, and Tyler Linderbaum was the most recent.
You good with that?
I'm good with that. Yeah,
All right.
I'm not going to pull anything different.
Marcus, we're checked in.
The Bearded Bears have checked in. Denny Walling fan club, you can talk it out.
Well, he's a center.
Yeah, no, I got that. So you know of one named?
I think it's Remington. I think Remington, because I think that Travis Frederick may have won it.
Okay. This is 2 full questions in a row where if I was on my own, I would have had no answer for either. So I'm not voting well for this game for being any help.
I'm gonna let you store those brain cells of yours, and we'll check in with Remington Award.
Okay, and Bearded Bears, what did you guys have?
Well, as Walling pointed out, those guys are centers. And I really only know this, sorry, Josh, from the old NCAA football video games, because it always give like the different awards at the end of the season that the guys on your team won. And I'm pretty sure the award for centers, and we'll see how lenient Marcus is, because I believe it's the Remington Award with an I. But we checked in with the Remington Award.
And I am so incredibly nice, and I will be giving both teams points. The answer is the Dave Remington Trophy. And yes, it is given out annually to the best center in the country. Tyler Linderbaum, Landon Dickerson, and Travis Frederick did not win it. However, Cowboy great Tyler Biotish has won it, as has Garrett Bradbury, Billy Price.
Now Garrett Bradbury won an award. Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Sure did.
At the college level, right?
And you know what? It turns out it made him a first-round pick.
Yeah, and turns out maybe he shouldn't have been a first-round pick, because that guy sucks.
Marquise Pouncey, A.Q. Shipley, LaCharles Bentley. There were some good ones.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, great job, both teams. And we'll move on to the last question in Flop, Turn, and River. Clue number 1. I currently compete in the UFC flyweight division. Clue number 2. As of August 8th, I am number 8 in the UFC pound for pound rankings. And clue number 3, I am part of the only trilogy of fights in UFC history consisting of both fighters' 3 consecutive bouts. And they were all in 406 days. So there you go.
We will check in.
Okay. So Bearded Bears has checked in. Danny Walling fan club, you can talk it out or ask for another clue.
Josh, what were your first thoughts on this when it came
My
up?
first thoughts were crickets when I heard UFC. So unless there's somebody named Crickets, I'm not sure I'm going to be any help.
Good old Crickets McGillicuddy, the flyweight.
He sounds more like a boxer, but he got into UFC
He was
late.
a bare knuckle, like one fist in front of the other guy.
They called him Crickets because that's what you heard after he knocked out his opponent.
Yeah. I feel like there's a good backstory we need to build here, Scott.
So, Walling, does any of this do anything for you?
Not a whole lot. Let's take another clue.
Okay, you are taking another clue, so we'll move on to clue number 4. I was named 2020 UFC Fighter of the Year, and I am a 2-time flyweight champion.
Yeah, if this doesn't do anything for you, there's one more clue you can get.
I kind of could think of a name. It's like an on the tip of my tongue name, but it's like a weird name. Let's take one more clue.
Okay, clue number 5. I am the current men's flyweight champion and will most likely face current interim flyweight champion Brandon Moreno for a 4th time for my next fight.
Okay. I couldn't remember which one of those two guys was. So the other guy is Dave. I don't remember how to pronounce his last name, but
Is it Remington?
Reming. It's a Brazilian for Remington. It is Figueiredo. Figueiredo. I can never remember exactly how to pronounce it. So
Okay.
we'll check in with the barber of Seville, Figueiredo.
Okay. And bearded bears, I mean Seth, what did you have?
Yep. We also checked in with Davison Figueiredo.
And both teams will be receiving points.
Hey, just real quick, I got to throw this in here. Who?
All right.
I'd never heard of the guy, so that doesn't surprise me. I've only maybe heard of heavyweights typically.
It's fair.
That's all right. It's all good.
Yeah. So Moreno and Figueiredo were Figueiredo was supposed to defend his title. He had to bow out due to an injury, and then Kai Kara France and Moreno fought for the interim title, which Moreno won. So they will fight for a fourth time.
What's the record in the trilogy?
1-1-1.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they had a majority draw, which is nuts. And that's how good that fight was.
It was a 0-0 draw? What?
Oh, Josh is checked out of UFC forever.
Sorry, Walling.
Okay, it's all right.
Okay, and after the first quarter, we have a score of Denny Walling Fan Club with 70 and Bearded Bears with 100. And now we move on to the second quarter, which is David versus Goliath.
David versus Goliath. This quarter will consist of 3 pairs of questions, one easier, David, and one harder, Goliath. After hearing both questions, the teams will pick one of the 2 questions to answer, either David or Goliath. Each David question is worth 25 points, and each Goliath question is worth 50 points.
Okay. Number 1 in David versus Goliath. David, the Tennessee Titans all-time leading rusher. Goliath, the Tennessee Titans single-season receiving record holder. Just a clarifier, this is, the whole franchises.
Yeah, is it?
Record,
And it's
so.
receiving yards, right? Not receptions.
Receiving yards,
Got
yes.
it.
No, I literally did the Sporkle right before I got on. They're nobodies, man. They're freaking nobodies. Oh.
Well, hopefully the David isn't a nobody. That's that.
Right.
No, Titans are a running team, apparently, and always have been.
Check it in.
All right. We'll check in with Goliath.
Yeah, you don't have to tell him.
Sorry. Yeah, I
It's fine.
forgot. It's supposed to be a surprise.
Rookie,
fine.
hey,
It's all
rookie
good.
mistake. It's all good.
I'm a
Exactly.
rookie. I'm
It's gonna happen.
All right. Bearded Bears has checked in with who knows what. Denny Walling Fan Club. You can talk it out.
Well, we know, as a Broadway fan, I think we know what David is.
Was I right in what I sent you?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Remember, you
David-
guys can say names, rookies.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Rookie mistake.
So Eddie George.
That's
Edmund.
never supposed to be an answer.
I know, in spite of podcast logic.
Why
This
is that never
is
supposed to be an answer?
Because every time I give it as an answer, it's wrong. It's like Marcus and I's Rod Strickland.
Do you have any idea on the single season receiving record holder?
No. The only ones I could think of would be, if it's not like Kendall Wright, which that feels like too easy of an answer, or like AJ Brown or whatever who just left. Those are too easy of answers. Who'd Warren Moon throw a lot to?
I
Could you name
Sure.
any of Warren Moon's receivers?
don't think I could.
Okay, me neither.
I have zero
All right.
feeling on that. So
Am I
Okay.
gonna like pitch a shutout to Bomback specifically? Like, I know you guys have gotten answers.
no, I got the David
got
for
the-
this.
Oh
one.
yeah. Okay, fair. Yeah, you're.
I mean, and it's not strange for Goliaths to be who's
not Larry effing Bird. Ugh,
Oh, poor David.
damn it, David.
I'm cool with going with David and Eddie George. I got nothing. I have no way to even. I mean, any receiver
got
in there
nothing.
in the Oilers Titans history could have had a huge year.
Yep.
I have no idea.
Yep. I'm good with that. Let's check it in.
All right, we're going to check in the David with Eddie George.
Okay, and Bearded Bears, Seth. What did you check in with?
I really hope I remember my Sporkle quiz right. I know he has like 7,000 something yards, and I'm 95% sure his last name was Givens. And if I am wrong, I say sorry, Scott, but we checked in with the Goliath of Givens.
Okay, one team is receiving points. Eddie George is, in fact, the Titans' all-time leading rusher. He led them with 10,009 receiving yards.
Rushing yards.
Rushing yards, sorry. Excuse me. Rushing yards. And the Goliath. Now, this is me just going off of it in my head. I think Givens is the all-time leading receiver for a career.
Yeah.
But the single season record holder is Charlie Hennigan.
No, now that you say that, I knew that. I'm sorry, Scott. I missed that in the chat. I botched that.
I don't bother to give who's on Goliaths because that's common. But
I'm sorry, dude. I knew it was Hennigan too. I was stuck on career, and when you typed
I typed it single season, not franchise, that meant nothing to you.
Well, I was just rocking back and forth.
You were so confident on Givens. I was like, all right, go for it.
Yeah, shoot. Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
Shoot.
Charlie Hennigan had two absolutely absurd seasons for the Houston Oilers in 1961 and 64. In 64, he's also number 2 on this list. He had 101 catches for 1,546 yards. And then in 1961, he had 82 catches for 1,746 yards and 12 touchdowns.
In the 60s?
In the 60s. Anybody off top, their quarterback for those Houston Oilers?
Was it Blanda?
It was indeed George Blanda. And Haywood Jeffries is who I think of as Warren Moon receivers.
That's the one.
That's the one you were thinking of?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like Haywood something.
Yes.
The only thing I could think of.
Brendan
Haywood. Yes. He threw all those passes to Brendan.
Not a different Haywood. Not a different Haywood J. That's something different.
Yes, correct.
This is a family.
I think
podcast.
it says Jablam.
That's why I stopped with just the last initial.
Jablam, right? That's how it's pronounced?
Something like that, yeah.
All right, let's move on to question 2 in David versus Goliath. David, the New York Yankees all-time leader in saves. Goliath, the New York Yankees all-time leader in strikeouts.
Marcus, if it makes you feel good, I'm pretty sure I can nail the David on this one too.
Yeah, I hope so. If I didn't hit your wheelhouse on that one, I don't know what to tell you. We might.
I just wanted to let you know I'm good. I'm good for another one here.
I'm glad. All. I'm really glad. Like I hope everybody knows that when we write these, we don't necessarily the whole goal isn't to stump people necessarily.
At least not these people.
Not in the first.
Okay.
Yeah. We're checked in, Marcus.
Okay. Bearded Bears has checked in. Denny Walling Fan Club. You can talk it out.
So David's definitely Goose Gossage, right? Just kidding.
Yeah, sure. Something like that. All right. Goliath. Let's talk Goliath.
Some guy in the 90s and 2000s. It was okay. So
you think
I think it's Andy Pettit. And just because he was around, he played there for a very, very long time.
Didn't he pitch there his whole career?
Yes. And he was a 2,000-ish strikeout guy. 3,000.
Okay.
strikeout guy. And other guys that ran through there, your Clemenses and stuff. The only other one I could think of maybe would be like Whitey Ford or something, but I don't know if he would have been, if he struck out a bunch of guys back then.
Yeah.
And since we're behind, I'm leaning towards going with the Goliath here.
Yeah, I feel good with Andy Pettit. I think that it's definitely not something I'd shy away from trying the Goliath with.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
We'll check in with Andy Pettit for Goliath.
Okay, and Bearded Bears, what did you guys have?
Guys are overlooking Andy Pettit's tenure with the Houston Astros.
Oh yeah, I forgot he followed his roid buddy.
Yeah. We played it safe on this one. We felt like there were too many potential names for Goliath and, a couple different guys. So we wanted to play it safe. Maybe we're a little gun shy after Givens.
Yep.
So we checked in with the very obvious David answer of John Wetland's successor, Mariano Rivera.
Both teams have checked in, and both teams will be receiving points. Mariano Rivera, I don't know if you've heard of him. He has 652 career saves, and nipping at his heels at number 2 is Dave Righetti with 224 saves.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah. And Scott, you basically explained why I saw this as a Goliath, because there are quite a few names on this list. For strikeouts, Andy Pettit is number 1 with 2020. Number 2, Whitey Ford, 1956. Ron Guidry, 1778. CC Sabathia, 1700. Those were some nice names, so I was thinking that maybe it would trip somebody up, but both teams getting points, so great job, guys. All right, let's move on to question 3 in David versus Goliath. David, the Los Angeles Clippers all-time leader in blocks, and Goliath, the Los Angeles Clippers all-time leader in three-pointers made.
We're checked in.
Bearded Bears has checked in. Denny Walling Fan Club, you can talk it out.
I'd say yes to the last thing you typed to me.
All right. Well, we don't have a lot to go on for. We threw Jamal Crawford and JJ Redick out there, but I don't know that either of them would be the answer for Goliath. So I think DeAndre Jordan is the all-time block leader, unless it was like Loy Vaught.
It wasn't.
I just saw his card.
The only shot he blocked were his own.
I was
trash.
I was cleaning out. So I was cleaning out baseball, basketball, and football cards in the office today, and was just like some names. And it's really funny that this came up because I definitely pulled like an old Stadium Club Loy Vaught card out. It was like, oh, I loved that name.
He had so many basketball cards. It was ridiculous.
It was like you got 3 Loy Vaughts in every pack.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
90s. Okay. Josh, you want to check in with DeAndre Jordan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll do DeAndre Jordan for David.
Okay. And Bearded Bears, what did you guys check in with?
Yeah, we had, kind of similar. We landed on DJ pretty quickly, and then we were thinking who would have been there long enough to be their all-time leading three-point shooter, and threw out a couple names. And going back before the 2000s, like the Loy Vaught teams, they were awful, man. Brian Stiff, like Eric Pietkowski, like Pooh Richardson was there for a little bit. And it's like, it just didn't make sense. I threw out a couple names for Goliath, and I'll be interested to see if one of them is. I was kind of between like Lou Williams and Quentin Richardson. Quentin Richardson being engaged to Brandy at one point, Seth.
Yeah, that's what.
Try not to say those things until after people check in.
Shnikes.
Yeah, Bombach, the historian over there who remembers everything from every episode.
I'm bad at this.
I remember things from stuff I
fair.
That I research. Every once in a while I'll remember something that was on the show, but not that often.
But no, we ended up again, we're still gun shy from Given, so we checked in with the David answer of DeAndre Jordan.
Both teams, unsurprisingly, are receiving points. The correct answer is DeAndre Jordan.
I just had an NBA Jam epiphany. Can I guess on Goliath?
I'd love to hear a guess.
Is it the Polish pistol? Eric Piatkowski?
No.
So Jamal Crawford is number 1 in 3-point field goal attempts.
Ha.
He's 3rd in makes. JJ Redick is 4th in attempts, number 2 in makes. Number 1, Eric Piatkowski.
No way. I just named him.
With 738 made 3-pointers.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, man.
That's fine, because
I
honestly,
just remembered him from NBA.
had we gone Goliath, I would have said Q Rich over Eric Piatkowski, so it's all good.
Yeah, Nebraska legend. With his number 52 retired by Nebraska. Like, that's how you know you're gross, is when your number in college, you willingly chose 52.
It was that he chose the number that correlated to the age his hairline looked in college.
There you go. Fair.
Yeah.
Quentin Richardson is actually 8th on both attempts and makes. I said the top 3: Chris Paul's 4, Lou Williams 5, Paul George 6, Corey McGillicuddy, Eric Gordon, and Matt Barnes. We did have a Loy Vaught mention. So here's what's funny, guys, is I had to panic a little bit because I know that when I wrote this, I had rebounds in mind and I looked at the rebounding list. But for whatever reason, I wrote down blocks. So like I freaked out and I was like, God, if I go there and like somebody else is the leader in blocks, I'm going to have to restart the question, all that. But Loy Vaught is 4th in total rebounds in Clippers history. DeAndre Jordan has about 3,200 more than Elton Brand.
Yeah.
So
Where's Michael Olowokandi on that list?
Not
is he on the
high.
list?
he
The
is not.
Candy man.
Okay, at the end of the second quarter, we have a lead change. The Bearded Bears have 150 and taking the lead after David and Goliath with 170, Denny Walling Fan Club. And that brings us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions pertaining to sports, with each question worth 25 points.
Freaking Givens.
Frickin' Givens, dude. Like, maybe I should like read questions.
So you've studied from the Eric Eid.
Yes.
Yes.
But
book
only
of
only the what
attention.
only the what not to do, because had he studied the what to do, we'd be smoking you guys.
It's the his strategy is to not read the questions. Okay.
I was so excited to pull Givens, dude, and then
You know
I
why
read the
he
question
can't
again.
read he doesn't have to read them, Seth? Because of his friggin' memory.
Yeah, well, I ain't got one of those, so
Right.
And
Although-
freaking Givens, dude.
The first question in halftime. Former Montana Grizzly and NFL vet Croy Bierman married a singer and Real Housewife of what city? She also competed on season 21 of Dancing with the Stars.
I'm going to put the quotes around stars for you on that.
As well you should, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, Seth, if you're good with that, go ahead and check in, man.
We'll check in.
Bearded Bears has checked in. Denny Walling Fan Club. You can talk it out.
How's your Real Housewives, Josh?
I've never seen any, not even a second of any of them.
I would just like to say that when I thought about asking you that question in my head, that was the exact answer that I pictured you responding with.
I mean, I'm not even sure I could name very many of the actual shows.
Real Housewives, Rap Women, Real Housewives of Orange County.
I've heard the Orange County
I
and
don't remember.
Atlanta. Now I think there's one in the Middle
Dallas.
East somewhere.
Qatar.
So
Qatar. So Orange County isn't a city. You said Atlanta. You want to just do Atlanta?
Sure, that's one of the ones I've heard of. So
All right, that's it. And
Sure.
in the in the immortal words of Boomer Esiason fundraiser Mason, that's a name. So yeah, let's do Atlanta.
Okay. And Bearded Bears, what did you guys have?
Sorry, stutter. Freaking Croy Bierman, Falcons legend. His wife was on Real Housewives of Atlanta.
And cue that backup truck.
that's not really a backup.
It's not
truck.
even
that
a
was
backup.
Just a
It's
throwing a
it's
dart. We just threw a
it's
dart
an
at the
a-
one
an ass
city.
pulling.
It was my hand is it's got some stuff on it.
Yeah. So both teams are receiving points. You guys are like, I'm going at it from the Housewives angle, and I'm like, man, if they just tried to remember if they've heard the name Croy Bierman.
Me, Croy
Okay.
Bierman is a who?
He had a solid career. He wasn't bad. So, anyways, doesn't matter. You got the points. Her name was hold on, I had it here. Her name was Kim Zolciak. I wasn't going to ask you for that. That was
Good.
That was too much. And I figured, yeah, again,
Is she the one from the meme where she's pointing at the cat?
no.
Okay.
Is that what that's from? I didn't even know that's what the meme was from a Real Housewives thing.
I don't
That
know if
makes
it is,
sense.
but it makes sense.
Yeah, it does
all
make sense.
Well, there you go. Okay. Let's move on to question 2 of halftime. Peyton Manning hosted the revival of the game show College Bowl. I want you guys to tell me who won the championship. What school won the championship? That's it. That's the question.
There's only been like one season of it so far.
One 10-episode season of Peyton Manning hosting it. Listening to Peyton Manning say very intelligent and wordy questions is fantastic, by the way. His accent it's awesome. So this question, Josh North records basically any and all game shows. He's a game show freak.
Why is he not good at them?
Ooh, shots fired.
Hey, was this the thing that Mason was
Yes.
hoping
Yes.
to be on?
Yes,
And
Mason
his
was
team didn't. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not LSU.
Can we phone a fundraiser?
Oh, Mason would know this for sure, I bet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so nobody else watched it?
Nope.
Just me and Josh North.
I mean, Mason might have watched it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Yeah.
I mean, just as likely as anything else, right?
Yeah, I'm good with that if you are.
I was only able to rule out one school for you.
I could rule out my alma mater too, but
I'm not sure I could rule mine out because I had no idea. I wouldn't be in the know if they went.
Unless the questions are all varsity blues related, you can eliminate any Texas-based university.
So yeah, we can check that in.
Okay, we'll check in.
Okay. Denny Walling Fan Club has checked in. Bearded Bears, you can talk it out.
I have nothing to latch onto here. Like, I didn't watch it.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Paid attention to it. I remember, I know what it is because Mason was hoping to be on it last year. So I mean, I knew it existed, but that was the extent of me paying attention to it. Was rooting for Mason to get on there. So
I think I would have watched if
right. Yeah, exactly.
Been on, but
yeah, this is just a shot in the dark. Like, we just have to pick a school, and I mean, I don't even know how to go about this.
Yeah, I know it's definitely not the University of Montana. So
yeah, I'm trying to think maybe threw this in there, as a semi wheelhouse type of question. But
right,
if you're adamant that it's not, then
dude, all we do up here is drink, man.
Or even anything close by, then I don't know what else to latch onto.
I mean, bigger schools, Washington and Oregon, are probably like the bigger schools that are closer.
Marcus
to us,
would not ask a question where the answer is Oregon.
Right.
Not if they won. Maybe if they lost.
That's what I mean. So
100%. If they lost, I'd have been like,
I think we can eliminate.
What team got embarrassed in the finals of College Bowl?
Yeah, right. Exactly. We can eliminate Oregon. And if we think this is Know Your Host, we can certainly do something in that area.
Yeah, I mean,
Again,
I got
I don't know
nothing.
the academic prowess of any of the schools in Washington since I've never been, so it's hard for me to say like, oh, it's Wazoo or
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'll just tell you, it's not them. Seth said all they do is drink. No, there's one thing to do in Pullman, Washington, and it's drink.
Oh, where's my guy? Where's my guy Drew Callahar? Hold on, let me consult him on this. Shout out to Drew. What up, Drew? You probably don't listen, but what up, Drew?
Pepperdine, bro? I have no idea.
You know what? I drove past it the other day, so sure, let's do it. We're checking it with Pepperdine.
I got nothing, man.
All right, we got a very confident check in there. Denny Walling Fan Club. What did you guys have?
You want me to take this one?
Take it.
All right. Well, we thought, who are some nerds? So we thought Ivy League. And then we thought, who's the biggest BTP nerd? We thought David Lux. And we know where he went to school. So we checked in with Brown.
Neither team is receiving points. However, Denny Walling Fan Club was on the right track. There were a lot of big schools, state schools that were in this. And then, there were a couple of Ivy League schools. And the final was USC against Columbia. Columbia ended up winning. And I was like, if David was on this episode, I bet you he would know it because it's an Ivy League question. And he'd be like, oh, I went to school with somebody whose daughter was on that team. And then,
he wrote half the questions.
Yeah.
So
Columbia.
Have you not heard about the scandal that USC actually bought their way to the finals?
They were all recruited to the rowing team.
Yeah, Aunt Becky was actually paying people to be on the college bowl.
They had
Right
Ken
now,
Jennings and Brad Rudder on the rowing
They
team.
can have name, image, and likeness contracts. So just chill yourselves out. This is 2021, not
Shout out to DeColdis Crawford.
D. Coldest Crawford with the best air conditioning NIL deal of all time.
Right. Also, you know what his middle name is, right?
To ever do it?
To ever do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
The coldest to ever do it, Crawford.
It's
That might be
only
the dumbest
behind
thing
Kool-Aid
I've
McKinstry.
ever heard.
Okay. That is very dumb. Let's hopefully not feel dumb and answer this third question in halftime. In 2005, ESPN tried a Battle of the Gridiron Stars show featuring current NFL players. 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks were named the captains of the AFC and NFC teams. Name either quarterback. And as some flavor text for you guys, some pre-answer flavor text, the competitions included basketball, bowling, an obstacle course, tug of war, a soccer shootout, and a home run derby.
You want to go with mine?
I like yours, man. Like, even if it's wrong, I like picturing it.
We're checked in.
All right, Bearded Bears have checked in. Denny Walling fan club, you can talk it out.
So I take it you didn't watch this at all?
I'm surprised because this is like right in my reality TV-ish show.
Same. Yeah, Seth asked me, he's like, have you seen it? And I'm like, I feel like I would have been all over it, but this is when like ESPN Dream Job was airing.
Yeah, I watched every episode of Playmakers
Right.
Twice.
So I was watching Teammates.
So this is current players being coached by 2 Hall of Famers.
Right. So I like both of our answers. I just don't know if you want to flip a coin because you said, yeah.
Well, so one is just from the
Game
you
thing.
know, knowing Marcus's secondary fandom. That's the only where I pulled that one from Stabler. But I think I don't know if either or both of the Mannings were on it, but if either or both of them were, I could easily see Archie being them getting him involved or vice versa.
Yeah, once you said that, I'm like, oh, that would, that would be a pretty good I don't know, marketing ploy to have him and maybe against one of his sons or something like that.
Yeah.
That was like height of Manningdom.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I feel probably better about that one.
Yeah.
The other was just pulling a Hall of Famer that had a connection to our Know Your Host, but I don't feel confident about that one. But
okay.
Should we go with Archie Manning?
Let's do it.
All right, check that in.
Okay, and Bearded Bears, what did you guys come up with?
I like that answer of Archie Manning because that's getting a name in there, right, to try to attract people. We were just trying to think. First was like, is there someone that was working for ESPN at the time since they were putting it on? Was it easy for them to? But I don't remember Ron Jaworski going into the Hall of Fame. So, so then we're just trying to think of QBs around that time who would do something like this because it seems pretty hokey and campy. And when I think of like hokey and campy and guys that would want to put their name on that, I think Terry Bradshaw. So we checked in with Terry Bradshaw.
One team will be receiving points. And when they were discussing, they said both names. The answers were Ken Stabler and Archie Manning.
So there was a Know Your Host.
Denny Walling fan club. I didn't even think about that. Like, I don't know that I've mentioned the Raiders enough for somebody to catch on to that as my second team.
You have for, I think, us. Maybe not guests, but I think for us, we always, because you always make a reference about it was your dad's favorite team. Therefore,
I thought you were going to say a Seahawks quarterback, and I'm like, who could he possibly? Jim Zorn's not in the Hall of Fame. I was like, what is he saying that for?
Is Dave Craig in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he might be.
But I wasn't going to go that route. That's where I went your secondary route because it's a much bigger name out of,
Yeah. So anybody can try and find this because I couldn't find hardly anything on it. And apparently there are 12 episodes. It was 2 seasons. Stabler's, the AFC team won both times. Had Peyton Manning, obviously, just all the stars at the time were doing this as a part of ESPN's, some of that wild programming.
Was Eli on it too?
I don't think so.
Okay. I was just curious if...
That's the end of halftime. After halftime, the scores have changed. The leading team hasn't. We have Bearded Bears with 175 and Denny Walling fan club with 220.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Now your third quarter will be the missing link.
The missing link. This quarter will consist of 5 questions with theme-linked answers. The teams will attempt to answer the questions and guess the theme. Each question is worth 20 points. If a team checks in first via chat to the host with the correct theme before the 5th question, they will earn 100 points. The other team can still earn 50 points with the correct theme guess. If neither team has checked in with the correct theme before the 5th question, each team can earn 50 points with the correct answer to the theme after the 5th question.
I blame this on David. I blame this rash of missing links on David.
I've been avoiding it for a while.
They were. It was. Yeah, I mean, he does it every game, but it's a. No,
I'm just saying. Remember my advice. Never miss an opportunity to blame something on David when he's not here.
So that way he can complain about it again that he was...
it's David's fault that Seth answered Givens earlier. So that's why we're losing.
Yeah. It's his fault we answered Brown.
It is his fault that we answered Brown.
2 wrong answers.
Thanks, David.
For question 1 in the missing link. What World Boxing Hall of Famer claims 27 world champions under his tutelage, including Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto, and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., among others? He considers the training he does as one of the reasons he has slowed the progress of his Parkinson's disease.
Bombeck, we're good to check in if you trust me.
I trust you.
We can check in.
Okay. Denny Walling fan club has checked in. Bearded Bears, you can talk it out.
Yeah, I was prepared to talk this one out as soon as you said boxing. I figured these guys wouldn't need very long.
These guys, you mean that guy?
Fair.
Oh, what is Manny Pacquiao's coach's name? I can picture him. He's got glasses. He's got like little white hair.
Okay.
Obviously, he has Parkinson's, unfortunately. Freaking.
Glasses,
What is his
white
freaking
hair.
name, man?
I don't pay enough attention to
Oh,
Manny Pacquiao to know that. I was always rooting for Mayweather.
it's freaking.
I don't even know how to try to help you on this. Like,
I'm going to go check on it.
Throw
real
out
quick.
some freaking first name. I don't even know.
some first names.
Well,
It's
If
assumed
I-
he is he of Latin descent?
no, he's white.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
Yeah.
that makes it even harder to throw out first name. George.
That's where my brain keeps going. It's not George.
Earl.
No.
Glenn.
No.
Bill.
I wish. No, it's freaking.
Jim.
Oh, it's in my brain. Where is it? God, dude, let's just throw up.
All right.
I can't.
Ernest Gibbons?
No, this is just Smith, dude. I can't
think it's
pull
Smith?
it, dude. No, I don't think it's Smith. I
No.
can't.
Can we
I
go
can't.
with a little bit of a whiter last name?
Dude, it's like I thought that is the most common white name.
It is, but like it's also very common for like let's go one that's more white.
Jones.
Sure. Whatever you want to go with,
It's
Givens.
not Jones. Oh my god, it's gonna kill me once Walling says it. But let's just go
All right,
Jones.
I need an
can't pull
answer.
it.
We're
Jones.
gonna check in
That's
Smith
not it.
Jones. Hyphenated.
All right. Smith Jones hyphenated. Walling, let's make Seth, not feel better, but at least get it out of his head.
I'm going to release that.
release that tension.
That's building up.
Release
check
the
in with-
McCracken. Sorry.
Yes, release the Quentin McCracken. That would be the guy who you described perfectly is Freddie Roach.
Ah! That's it. Oh my
there it
god.
is. That's the release
it
we're all
is.
looking for.
Oh.
Fred's
God.
definitely an old white guy name.
One team is getting points. The correct answer is Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach has also coached George St. Pierre. And like I said, he's able to claim 27 world champions under his tutelage. He had a 40-13 record as a professional himself. So
They had those old 24/7s that they used to do on HBO before a big fight were great with him. He's just watch some of his stuff or any of his interviews. He's an amazing dude.
all right, let's move on. So far, our themeling answer is Freddie Roach. On to question 2 in the missing link. What two-time CFP national champion, 2020 unanimous All-American, and Outland Trophy winner was a 2021 first-round pick?
Maybe we just check in with that one that you put. I like that as an answer.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull anything better.
The criteria fits, and yeah, I like it. So we are going to check in.
Bearded Bears have checked in. Denny Walling fan club, you can talk it out.
So we've narrowed a school and a position down, but that
I can't remember.
We also tried to do that.
Yeah. The only name that's getting stuck in my head, and I'm pretty sure he was drafted this year, not last year, is Evan Neal, because Marcus reminded me of that in another game the other day.
I was paying attention to offensive linemen during that draft because the Vikings they always need offensive linemen.
I was gonna say and corners, right?
All
This
right.
guy- Crap. I can't think of his name.
I need an answer.
Do you want to? I mean, Evan Neal is literally the only name I can come up with that I know is Alabama lineman.
Yeah, the only thing I can do is name the Alabama skill position players who were drafted, before him, but that doesn't help us either. Waddle,
Right.
Smith, Jones, no, none of
Smith
them?
Jones hyphen.
Waddle, Smith Jones, Remington.
Oh my God! As soon as he says, "Look, this will be one that we're gonna
Another sweet release.
I don't know if it's that sweet. I'm not I know it's in there. It's not right at the tip. I just can't quite.
All right, just the tip. What are you guys going to check in with?
What do you think, Josh? Evan Neal for the wrong answer?
Sure.
All right.
Okay. And Bearded Bears, what did you guys have?
Yeah, Seth, you came up with the name. We racked our brains trying to narrow down the position first for Outland, since we know that the Remington, right, is the center. And I know most of the other positions, so we eventually kind of decided that Outland, we just decided whether it's right or not, that Outland is for O-linemen, non-centers. And then Seth threw out a name of a guy that would have won 2 with Alabama because he played there forever. So go ahead, Seth.
Yeah, no idea if it's right or not, but I know the Raiders drafted Alex Leatherwood in the first round in 2021. So worth a shot. Hopefully it's O-lineman, right?
So that's what you're checking in with?
Yep.
That is, yep.
Okay. One team is receiving points. The correct answer is, in fact, Alex Leatherwood.
Good pull, Seth.
Sure it's not
Yes.
Givens?
That's his mom's maiden name, actually.
The Outland Trophy is actually for the official terminology is best college football interior lineman, but it is guards and tackles, or it can be a defensive tackle.
Okay.
So, yeah, it encompasses all of them.
Yeah, we were thinking it was defensive tackle, and then we were like Raekwon Davis, but he was a second rounder to Miami. So
Gotcha. Yeah, Jordan Davis won it in 2021.
Yeah.
And Alex Leatherwood won anyways.
That's
So,
the guy.
Yes.
No.
There you go.
I
knew-
wasn't going to get there, but
right. And I was hoping the lack of clues was like, why is there not more clues? Because there's not a whole lot you can say about an offensive lineman.
or Alex Leatherwood.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a different story. Okay. So far our theme linked answers are Freddie Roach and Alex Leatherwood. Moving on to question 3. What Nigerian-born 1998 Big West Player of the Year has his number 55 retired by his college, and may be more well known as one of the biggest draft busts in NBA history, averaging just 8 points and 7 rebounds in his career after being drafted number 1 overall?
We're checked in, Marcus.
Okay, the Bearded Bears have checked in. Denny Walling fan club, you can talk it out. Yeah, that's all you got, man.
it's the right
No.
time frame. It's just
Yeah.
funny that I
Already said it.
mentioned his name earlier. I mean, he certainly was a bust. Not only for the Clippers, but also for the Timberwolves. And I don't know where he went after that, other than to the club.
Overseas, I think.
But I think the time frame fits.
Pacific is on the west. Is in the west
Yeah.
allegedly.
Yeah.
All right. I'm good
All right,
with it if you're good with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it. We'll check in with Michael Olowokandi.
And Bearded Bears, what did you guys have?
Yeah, looking at the numbers there, it's funny because he was mentioned earlier, and he's not very high on the rebounds list all time for the Clippers. We also checked in with Michael Olowokandi.
And thanks a lot, Josh Bomback. Both teams receiving points. You said it, and I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to move on. Hopefully nobody remembers that he talked about it. So the correct answer is Michael Olowokandi. His number 55 is retired by Pacific University. And yes, not very good. Not very good at all.
He was good at getting out of the locker room fast and getting to the club. That's what he was the best at.
Yeah. Hey, it's a skill.
A lot of players are good at that. They just also decent on the court, so they get away with
No,
it.
they're not as good as him at being that fast to get out of the locker room to the club. He was number one.
All right. So our theme linked answers are Freddie Roach, Alex Leatherwood, and Michael Olowokandi. Question number 4 in the missing link. What 3-time All-Star had over 2,000 career hits over his 15-year career with 5 different teams? He is the all-time leader in stolen bases by a catcher in the live ball era and was the first player to hit for the cycle by the team that drafted him.
Hey, Marcus, we're going to check in.
All right. Denny Walling Fan Club has checked in. Bearded Bears, you can talk it out.
All right.
So I initially thought Jason Kendall because, like we kind of mentioned, the stolen bases. He's the first guy we both thought of for stealing a lot of bases as a catcher. But I don't know that he played for 5 teams.
I can only picture him on the Pirates. I think he
even if
almost
he
has
bounced
one of those.
around at the end, I don't know if he would have bounced around for 4 other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I read something where he was jokingly going to come back. I think he's only played for the Pirates. I could be wrong.
Yeah, even if he didn't, I don't know that he played for 4 more. He could have been a guy that spent his last 1 or 2 seasons somewhere random. But man, so I'm thinking Paul LaDuca, but he was not a steals guy, but he played for a lot of teams. And then I think Russell Martin.
I think he fits 5 teams because I can picture Dodgers, Yankees, Pirates,
Blue Jays.
You said
He was definitely in Toronto.
Mariners.
No, not Mariners.
Oh, not Mariners. Okay.
But he definitely played for Toronto, the
Yeah.
Yankees, the Pirates, the Dodgers. And
There's someone we're just glossing over.
I don't know. I just don't know if Russell Martin got to 2,000 hits. It's weird because I like Kendall for 2,000 hits and for 15 years and for the steals, but I don't like him for 5 teams. So I'm just trying to think if there's any other catchers that steal bases.
It's no one, right?
It's very rare. Yeah, and it's usually if there's a catcher that does that, they end up moving off of catcher. Bryce
I need an
Harper
answer,
did.
fellas.
Should we go? Oh, God.
You like
Should
Kendall or Russell Martin better?
I
I think I'm 55-45 to Kendall.
Yeah, let's go Kendall. I can't see him on 5 teams, but
I can't
whatever.
either. All right, we're gonna check in with Jason Kendall.
Okay, and Denny Walling Fan Club, what did you guys have?
We had a discussion that included one name, and I was pretty sure he played with 5 different teams, the Royals being one of them, and his ankle has maybe not been repaired yet, so we checked in with Jason Kendall.
Both teams are receiving points. He played for the Pirates, obviously. They drafted him 96-04. Then the A's for 3 seasons, ended up with the Cubs, played with the Brewers, and then finished his career up with the Kansas City Royals. And he has 189 stolen bases. There's another guy that has more, but again, it's he played in 1901.
Right, yeah.
1920, so whatever.
Is that, what's his name, McGillicuddy?
Yeah.
Crickets?
Yeah,
Crickets McGillicuddy.
Crickets McGillicuddy.
Crickets McGillicuddy, and then I think third on that list is Andrew Smith Jones. Just
Not Andrew Jones.
No.
Sorry, Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved Jason Kendall. He was always
I first baseball game I ever went to was a Pirates game, and he was the star of the team.
Yes, and at the time of his retirement in 2012, he was second in career hits and doubles by a catcher, only behind Pudge.
Yep.
Contact hitter to the max. And yeah. Our theme linked answers are Freddie Roach, Alex Leatherwood, Michael Olowokandi, and Jason Kendall. And I've received submissions from both teams, so let's just move on to question 5. Question 5 in the missing link. Nickname given to a recent FTG addition. A Super Bowl winning coach, but at the time was the youngest Super Bowl winning coach in NFL history at 39 years old, and because of FTG stuff, was recently removed from Tampa Bay's Ring of Honor.
We're going to check in.
Denny Walling Fan Club has checked in. Bearded Bears, you can talk it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is...
that just clicked like that. Yeah. As soon as removed for stuff. What was his name? Oh,
John Gruden and
Chucky.
It's Chucky.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So checking in with Chucky.
Okay, and Denny Walling Fan Club, what do you guys have?
Yeah, we literally sent the same thing to each other split seconds after you finish reading the text. It is indeed Chucky.
And both teams will be receiving points. Yeah. If you guys want to, I mean, I'm surprised that this much was on the Wikipedia page, because once that stuff happened, I kind of just was like, whatever. Like, it's not like there aren't a bunch of people that have said a bunch of horrible things in emails, and his just happened to get published and whatever. But some of the stuff in those emails I was reading today as I was doing this round, and I was like, oh boy, there's some FTG stuff for sure. So anyways, I received submissions from both teams. So why don't we start with let's just go with Denny Walling Fan Club. What did you guys submit?
We submitted horror movie villains.
Okay, and Bearded Bears, what did you guys have?
So after Alex Leatherwood, I thought to myself, should I send over horror movie villains? But I was like, technically it's Leatherface, so I don't know if I should or not. So then after hearing some of the rest of them, it made sense. Only one thing worked. This was a theme that I had written, also a missing link that I had written. Obviously not the same names, but the same theme. So we also checked in with horror movie monsters.
Yes. I don't remember that at all. So good.
No, I haven't done it yet. I have it written.
Oh, I thought you were saying
I have it written for a future game. Well, not anymore.
Gotcha.
But
well, yeah.
Yeah, all good.
Sucks,
I had
sucks
it written.
to suck.
Yeah.
Yes. So both teams have gotten points, but yes, as Scott alluded to, they submitted it after question 3 was read. Denny Walling Fan Club submitted it after question 4 was read. So 100 points to Bearded Bears. Still getting the 50 is Denny Walling Fan Club. So great job, both teams. That was, I don't know what happened. It just hit me like in the face. Because usually when I decide to do missing link rounds, I agonize over the link. And I love horror movies, and I stumbled upon this YouTube series called Dead Meat, where they basically like walk you through a horror movie in like 20 to 25 minutes and go through all the kills, and it's pretty funny. And especially if you don't want to watch like really bad ones, they like review everything. So I just got done watching every episode of the Hellraiser series, and I'm glad I don't have to watch any of those. I just got to see some kills. So
right, there's no athlete named Pinhead that you could have used.
Trust me, that was the first thing that I thought of. I was like,
Mike Pinhead.
Oh.
So Marcus, did you go through who the villains were?
Oh, sorry. No, I'll go ahead. So Freddie Roach and Freddy Krueger. It was hard to fit in Leatherface, but Leatherwood I thought would suffice. And a little bit of a twofer. I was thinking Mike Myers, and when I was thinking of a Michael and I saw Michael Allwood Candy, I said, ooh, Candyman, that works too.
Mm-hmm.
So got those. We have Jason Kendall and Jason Voorhees.
Yep.
And then our alley-oop that I threw to you guys that both of you threw down very nicely, Chucky. So
yeah, we were initially struggling with the Alex going, is there a Alex villain in the horror movie?
Right. I know. I was like, because then I thought about some other ones, and I'm like, I got to stick with the
big ones. Yeah. The thing for me was like, when Seth typed to me Alex Leatherwood, in my head I went Leatherwood, Leatherface, and I was like, we already have like a horror theme right there. So that also kind of led me to saying like, let's go Alex Leatherwood, and if it's right, I feel like that has to be the theme because I don't know what else would fit. So once we got that, I felt pretty confident, and then just wanted to wait for the third one.
I was like, are Roach and Leatherwood like two characters from Animal House that I forgot about?
I thought for sure when it was Freddie Roach, I typed to Seth and I was like, okay, Papa Roach, like remember that, keep
Famous
that in
Papas.
mind. Well, you're right. And so at first I was like, what are roaches? I was like, famous Papas, and then I said like cockroach, and I was like, would Marcus do a missing link round about 5 cocks? And I was like, probably not.
Yes, but I would, but that would be on a Patreon.
So then when the Outland Trophy came up, I was like, because I didn't read the back-to-back national championships, I was like, is this Creed Humphrey? Is this Creed and Papa Roach? I was like, are these 2000s rock bands that people forgot about?
So because like that's a part of it too. Like for all of you listening, when we write these missing links, part of it for me is what order am I going to put these in? Because I don't want to give an obvious one early that will lead them to. And Freddy Krueger is a pretty, I would say that's one of the first things you think of when you think of horror movie villains, characters, whatever you want to say. But the fact that Roach was on there, I was like, yeah, they might think I'm doing some kind of rock.
I did. It was in the back of my mind for sure.
Oh yeah.
I just found an Alex who is a villain in a horror movie.
Oh,
Alex Hammond in Prom Night.
Oh, is that his name?
All right.
He's a serial killer.
All right. That's so funny. Prom Night. Yeah,
you're such a good missing link. You didn't even know how good.
Wow.
Yeah. Little did you know you had 2 doubles.
I had 2 twofers. Yeah. When I saw Michael and I was like, Michael, and I was thinking of names and I was like, oh, and Michael Alawakandi was thinking
Andy
Man. I'm like, have to do it.
Turns out that roaches are a villain in a movie called Eaten Alive by Roaches. So that's also a double for Freddie Roach.
Okay. Is this the greatest missing link of all time? Well, after that very well done round by both teams getting all the questions, both teams getting the theme, we have a lead change. But it is a tight game. Taking the lead back are the Bearded Bears with 375, but man, there's that Denny Walling fan club at 370. Anybody's game. This is as tight as it gets. We did it. We're here. It's time for the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
So our categories for the fourth quarter are blessings in the UFC, freak like me in the NFL, Hail Mary in college football, and believe, which is Major League Baseball Jason. And now the teams will oh god, did I just forget what to say? Jeez Louise.
That's right. It's your first
I
time.
just had it. Oh my gosh. My brain almost shut down. I almost passed out just now. It is now time for the teams to place their wagers. Now that the wagers are in, on to the questions. So our first question in the fourth quarter, blessings. What former UFC featherweight champion owns the 3rd longest winning streak in UFC history, 13, the most flyweight wins, 18, and finishes, 10, and has the most total strikes landed in UFC history across all weight classes?
We can check in then.
All right. Bearded Bears have checked in. Denny Walling fan club, you can talk it out.
Okay, so the only name that's popping into my head is Mighty Mouse Demetrius Lucky Johnson, but I don't remember if he was featherweight or flyweight. But he did have a long winning streak.
You know you're talking to no one, right?
I know.
I'm listening.
This is for the. I'm doing it for the fans.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Doing this for the fans. I'm pretty sure Mighty Mouse has a really long one, and I think he was featherweight, so I think we'll check in with Lucky Johnson for Oakland 5.
All right. The old Oakland 5. Shout out to Triviality.
Hi, Neil.
Wow. Hi, Matt. Hi, Jeff. Hi,
yeah.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, those guys too.
Those sweethearts that they are. Okay. And Bearded Bears, he checked in first. Seth, what did you have?
Yes. So Demetrius Johnson was a flyweight. Mighty Mouse, obviously. But Blessed, Max Holloway, was an ex-UFC featherweight champion, and he's known for his boxing, lands a ton of strikes, and I'm pretty sure he went on a ridiculous win streak. So as long as the flyweight wins is really featherweight wins at 18, I feel pretty good about Max Holloway for 100.
One team is receiving points. The correct answer is Max Holloway. And yes, the category, Josh, holding up a very adorable owl Funko Pop. And yes, the category name was for his nickname, which is Blessed. So great job, Seth. No offense, Scott.
That's all. Yeah, I heard of that guy today for the first time, so it's all good.
He got his butt whooped in his last fight, unfortunately. But
yes, he did. But unless somebody beats him, they're probably going to fight again at some point.
Yeah, there's no one. It's those two.
Right.
That's it.
Him and Volkanovski. Let's move on to question 2. In Freak Like Me, Javon Curse burst on the NFL scene in 1999, recording 14 and a half sacks to set an NFL rookie record. However, Curse is not the all-time single-season sack leader for the franchise. The single-season record of 15 belongs to whom? He was a 4-time Pro Bowler and finished his career with 100 and a half total sacks for 3 different teams.
We are going to check in.
Nice.
Denny Walling Fan Club has checked in. Bearded Bears, you can talk it out.
Now we can give our 4 names that
I
feel like it's one of.
Yeah, I can't place Carter on the Titans, obviously, but
so
I trust you that he was there.
Oh yeah, Kevin Carter was absolutely on the Titans, Rams, and Dolphins. He has the 3 teams. He was definitely a sack guy in late 90s, early 2000s. Could have easily had a big season while Curse was there, especially with Curse getting all the attention. It would have been easy for another guy to kind of break through. But then I
like Vanden Bosch. For some reason, my heart says Vanden Bosch.
I remember Vanden Bosch having a big sack season for them in the mid 2000s. I don't know that he went to a 3rd team, and I don't know that he has 4 Pro Bowls. 4 Pro Bowls seems like a lot at a time when there was a lot of competition for Pro Bowls.
That's true.
There were a lot of good pass rushers around the same time that he was a pass rusher. So then we have Brian Arakpo, who I think is only Washington and the Titans because then he went to bake cupcakes. I'm pretty sure he retired as a Titan to go do cupcakes. So I don't know that he has a 3rd team. And then there's Cameron Wake, who you say did go to the Titans, which I vaguely remember.
Yeah, and he definitely played on the Dolphins, obviously.
And I'm pretty sure he latched on somewhere else too.
He was just grabbing on whatever he could get.
But I don't know that
he's
by the
still
time,
active, isn't he? Technically,
I don't know that by the time he got to the Titans, though, he would have been that prolific enough to rack up 15 sacks. That was late
because he's probably
career.
39, dude.
Right, I like Vanden Bosch because I know he had a big season. 4 Pro Bowls just seems like a lot for him. Man, I'm stuck on him and Carter. I don't really have.
Yeah, and I wish I had more to offer. I know I looked at this list, but I can't.
I think let's do Vanden Bosch.
Dude, if I were to lean one way, it's Vanden Bosch.
Let's just hope that he somehow got 4 Pro Bowls. All right, we're gonna check in Kyle Vanden Bosch for 100 points.
Let's go over to Denny Walling Fan Club. What did you guys come up with?
I had pretty much the Cupcake Man and Kyle Vanden Bosch were the only 2 names I could come up with. And if we flipped a mental coin and went with Vanden Bosch for Oakland 5.
Neither team is receiving points. I can tell you that Kyle Vanden Bosch had a season of 12 and a half. He had a season of 12. Other names, Jason Babin had a 12 and a half.
Yes, he did.
It's a name.
We have Sean Jones in the early 90s had 12 and a half and a 13. We have a Ray Childress with 13, but with 15 in the year of our Lord, 1991, William Fuller.
Oof.
The
Dolphins
third
wide receiver?
The third? This would have been the third, right? Probably. Or the
junior,
second?
as a matter of fact.
The second?
wonder.
Okay.
It's not his dad, but he is
No,
William
yeah.
Henry Fuller Jr.
It's not his dad? Well, no, it can't be. This guy seems like he stayed on the field. He was, you're able to
This
get that many
explains
sacks.
why Fuller's gone so often. His hamstrings are 30 years older.
So Fuller is second all time on the Titans with 59 career sacks. Yeah, it's not a very extensive.
That's it?
Ray Childress is your leader all time for the Oilers / Titans with 75 and a half. Childress, Fuller, Sean Jones, who we mentioned. Then you go Javon Curse, Jarrell Casey, Derek Morgan, Kyle Vandenbosch, Jesse Baker, Harold Landry, who is currently active, and Brian Arakpo is 10. So before we go on to question 3, we have the Bearded Bears at 355 and Denny Walling Fan Club at 340. Let's move on to question 3. Hail Mary. All of these categories are song titles of songs that I love. So
Weird Al songs?
no. Blessings is by Big Sean. Freak Like Me, Adina Howard. Hail Mary by Tupac. So, anyways.
And Believe by Cher, obviously.
Obviously. All right. Let's move on to question 3 in Hail Mary. In 2016, Georgia and Tennessee played an all-time classic in which 2 Hail Marys ended the game in a span of 17 seconds. Riley Ridley scored with 10 seconds left to give Georgia a 3-point lead, but a Georgia unsportsmanlike conduct penalty and a good kick return gave Tennessee 1 play from the Georgia 43-yard line, and Jawan Jennings came down with the game winner. Tell me the 2 quarterbacks that threw these touchdown passes. Both were selected in the NFL draft and are currently on NFL rosters.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to.
I say we just do it. So we're checking.
I like it.
Okay, Bearded Bears have checked in. Denny Walling Fan Club, you guys can talk it out.
I think I have the Georgia one because I had I had some questions, and I also did a bunch of research when Adam Spees came on for the first time because he's such a big fan of the Bulldogs. I'm pretty sure that time frame was Jacob Eason, quarterback for Georgia, and then Walling came back with Tennessee and said
The name that I was thinking of that was their starting quarterback around them would have been Joshua Dobbs.
So we checked in with those 2 for 5 points.
Doing a true Oakland 5, you got to respect it. All right. Bearded Bears, what did you guys come up with?
I think they're going to win the game.
I really like Eason.
Oakland 5 because I think they're right. I think it is Eason. I think the time frame fits.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we were trying to figure out what the time frame was for Aaron Murray and whether or not he's an NFL backup. We checked in with Josh Dobbs and Aaron Murray for 50 points.
One team is receiving points. Joshua Dobbs and who's basically like almost to me he's like the Dolph Lundgren of the NFL, a guy who's playing football, but he's like essentially a rocket scientist. He's like just a super smart dude. Threw the game winner to Jawan Jennings, and the quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs from Lake Stevens, Washington, Jacob Eason. All right. As we head into the final question, the lead has changed. Denny Walling Fan Club? Just going to put question marks after all of them. Has taken the lead at 345, and the Bearded Bears are now at 305. So, the final question in Believe
By Cher.
Another one of my favorite songs.
You don't have enough auto tune on your mic there, Walling.
I don't. Somebody turn up my gain.
I don't like that song, but I do love a cover of that song. And if you can look it up on YouTube, it's by the band DMA. It's for this YouTube series. It's called Like a Version.
Marcus, no matter how hard I try, you keep pushing me aside. And I just
break through?
I can't. There's no talking to you.
Oh, man. All right. So there's your YouTube plug. Let's move on to question 4 in Believe. What former two-time World Series champion, NL MVP, ALCS MVP, and NL Manager of the Year was also elected to the College Football Hall of Fame in 2017? Probably because he was a first-team All-American in 1978 and retired as Michigan State's all-time leader in every major receiving category. He has more career receiving touchdowns than Andre Rison and Plaxico Burress.
But has he shot himself in the bits?
Or had his house burned down by a member of the
I feel like
90s.
Their career accomplishments are way cooler.
I one day dreamed to have my house burned down by a pop star.
That's fair. That's actually a pretty good aspiration.
We can check in.
Denny Walling Fan Club has checked in for the final time tonight. Bearded Bears, you can talk it out. You have about 2-ish minutes.
Oh boy,
Dude, I don't know that I have any brain capacity left.
I wish I had anything to give you. Like 80s, 90s baseball is not my thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to, my brain power it's been dwindling the entire game because, Josh's pouch fish smell's been seeping through the camera, and it's
Did he microwave
to the point
it?
now where it's he microwaved it in the break room and didn't clean up after himself, and so now I can't focus.
Everybody's pissed. They're like, who did this?
I hate when that shit happens.
Did Kirk Gibson ever play in the AL? And
Well, Kirk-
I don't
yes,
also picture him
yes.
as a receiver, but
He
I
played
could
for
be
the
wrong.
Tigers.
Okay.
No, I mean he was very athletic, but it's you have to think NL Manager of the Year also. He did manage.
You're right.
So
What he probably, if he was
manager.
good, he probably would have started managing late 90s.
No, I don't think he started managing until the 2000s. I don't think he wasn't a guy that retired and immediately started managing.
Okay.
There was a gap for him. But if we're looking at time frame, if he's in college in 78, so he's not going to be playing in the MLB until the 80s. So this is probably an 80s, 90s guy, right?
Mhm.
So he's probably a manager by sometime in the 2000s.
Yep.
Man, NL MVP. It's a lot of the guys I'm thinking of that are NL MVP haven't managed, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, this is rough.
Is there who was the Astros manager? Because they were pretty good in the early aughts, right?
Before they moved to the AL, Phil Garner was their manager at one point.
Was there? Oh no, not Ozzie Guillen. Never mind.
No, he was AL
Yep.
manager of the year. Bruce Bochy, but that doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They had Bob Brenly, but they had Kirk Gibson, so he was a manager. He was a pretty athletic guy. I could see him being a receiver. I just don't know that there's anyone else. I don't even know.
All right,
guys. I need an answer.
I think that's gonna have to be
this
it.
Sucks. All right,
I don't have anything, man.
we're checking in with Kirk Gibson for 100 points.
Okay, and Bearded Bears, what did you guys have?
Well, early on, I did a lot of research on multi-sport college athletes, and this person definitely was one of those. And they talked out just about everything they needed to know, and they're going to win the game because Kirk Gibson played wide receiver at at Michigan State University. I didn't know it because I spent 1 year at Michigan State.
I was going to say, did you hit a jump shot over Kirk Gibson?
No, I don't know if I would have made a jump shot over him. Just saying. But pretty athletic. So we checked in with Kirk Gibson for 5 points.
And both teams are receiving points. The correct answer is Kirk Gibson. I don't even remember what led me here, but when I got to Kirk Gibson and this just happened to come up, I said, wait a minute, what? How have I never heard that? The head football coach, Darryl Rogers, was the one who talked Kirk Gibson into playing baseball. He said, you should play. He only played in college for 1 year. And in that 1 year, he hit 390, had 16 home runs and 52 RBIs in 48 games, and was subsequently drafted in the first round by the Tigers. And he said, I think I like hitting balls more than I like getting hit. And yes, when I remember it because, Josh is doing the fist pump from Scott's doing it. Yeah. Yeah. And so I remember now I was looking up kind of Michigan State receiving records and I saw the name and I was like, oh, that must be some other Kirk Gibson. And I saw it and I went, what? Oh, to me, it's just like, it's unbelievable. I was like, that's crazy that this is that, that Kirk Gibson. So yes, correct. And with that, our game has come to an end and the final scores with 350 points and a very respectable showing. The Denny Walling Fan Club with 350 points and our clipboard captains, who it couldn't be anybody else, will be receiving the coveted Jake Locker Award.
Of course.
With 405 points. The Bearded
lucky.
Bears. Yay.
Wow.
Washington legend Jake Locker.
That's right. Titans. What's the opposite of a legend? Jake Locker.
Infamous quarterback
Infamous
Jake
Titan.
Locker. Yes.
Wow.
So great game, guys. That was a lot of fun. Seth, do you have anything to say? This is your first time.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ended up pulling out the W. How do you feel?
Well, just first off, thank you for letting me play. It's a big honor. Like, I work basically an assembly line job. So like the last month I've just been binging your guys' podcast. So when my drunken alter ego was like, let me on the show, and friggin' Matt was like, how about next week? I was like, oh no.
That was me, bro.
Oh, was that you? Yeah.
Yeah, I messaged you.
Keep over. Yeah, no, like I was whatever. This was awesome. Great game. I was a little sick to my stomach about Givens. I realized where I went wrong. You said career rushing yards.
Yes.
And then you went to single season
receiving
but
yards.
I had career and whatever.
So that's called an Eric Eid, where you don't read the question, you hear it, and then you don't reread it. So always reread the question.
Yes. Lesson learned.
You didn't need those points. You're fine.
Yeah, it worked out in our favor, but great game, Josh. Great game, Eric. Like, well-written game, Marcus. Thanks again for letting me play. This is a blast. Can't wait to be back someday. And I don't know. Thank you again. Like, this is an awesome way to spend my Sunday. So
yeah, thank you for teaming with me. It was a good mix, right? You had all the UFC stuff and the wheelhouse stuff, and I was able to help out where I could. You gotta sometimes when you team with a guest, Josh, you gotta lead them to victory. I know that you haven't.
Here we go.
I know that you haven't teamed with guests a lot, right? It hasn't happened often. So everyone out there, the Joshes and the Matts who don't team with a lot of guests, sometimes you got to check in that missing link right after question 3, right? As soon as when you're down and you need it, and your guest teammate is like, man, I don't know. You just got to take matters in your own hands sometimes.
All right. Hey, ego boy. I'm going to take you down a notch. Seth is one of exactly a handful of guests you've helped lead to victory.
Do that. You have to do that 20% of the time.
The other 20 are not quite as happy.
Hey, hold on. Scott's got more flu games than MJ, so think about that. He's had like 7 flu games.
Just one. It's a COVID game. Thank you. Not the flu. It's a global pandemic.
I just wanted to bring you down a level. Just take it easy.
I'm going to rebuttal to that. You said 5 I've led to victory. No, I've led 1 to victory. The other 4 led me to victory.
Oh, okay. Marcus, I was very nervous after the first quarter because I was like, oh boy, that was not a quarter that I knew anything about. But the game got much more well-rounded for people who don't have UFC, and I can't remember what the middle one was. It was, what was your? I can't remember.
What was it? It was the Remington Award.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm
Remington.
just saying that after that, everything kind of settled in, and I felt everything was pretty gettable, and it was a well-written game, and it was a fun game to play. Seth, thank you also for being a member of our Patreon team.
I forgot that at the beginning. Damn it.
So thank you for being a equipment manager for our team.
Hey,
really appreciate that.
We're doing it at
love
the
our
end
equipment managers.
for today.
We really do.
Somebody's got to bring the balls to the court. We can't play without them.
Yes,
Exactly.
very vitally important to the operation.
And Walling, well, we always have Walling. Josh, love that name. Do we need anything else?
No, we need to make sure that you guys are writing us in on your ballots for 2024.
I'll vote for you right now.
Yeah,
You gotta vote in me. So
yeah, yeah. Make sure we're on there. We'll be fleshing out the story of Cricket's McGillicuddy in future episodes. Just know that this is only the beginning of the legend of Cricket's McGillicuddy. So.
Awesome. Well, let's get out of here. Thank you all for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at Benchwarmers TP.